What up, YouTube? Here with a preview video for tomorrow's SummerSlam. I will be giving y'all my predictions for every match on the card. The first match I'll be giving a prediction on is the match with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. This rivalry has been going on since WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, and their first match was at Backlash, where Cody Rhodes had a fluke victory over Brock Lesnar when Brock Lesnar had him in the Kimura lock, and he got a roll-up win over Brock Lesnar. And then they had a rematch at Night of Champions where Cody Rhodes had kayfabed a arm injury because Brock Lesnar on the Raw prior to Night of Champions, he had attacked Cody Rhodes and kayfabed broke his arm, and then that gave that underdog feel to the rivalry, and that gave the heel momentum to Brock Lesnar, making him look like a strong heel, which Brock Lesnar doesn't really need because that character is already sold on the part of Brock Lesnar. They don't really need to do much to make him look like a beast, especially when he's playing the heel character. That gives more of a edge to Cody Rhodes and his run as a babyface. And then this rivalry has been continuing, and it happened again after Money in the Bank. Brock Lesnar had a little time off at the Night of Champions, and then that's when Cody Rhodes had a rivalry with Dominic Mysterio. Meanwhile, Brock Lesnar was getting ready to come back on TV, and that's when this rivalry continued. And if you think about it, this rivalry has been going on for a while now. As I said, it happened after WrestleMania, the day after WrestleMania, and then it should come to a close after tomorrow. And the right pick would be for Cody Rhodes to win this match because Brock Lesnar is a part-time wrestler, and Brock Lesnar has already accomplished himself as far as his wrestling career goes. He's had, I would say, one of the most legendary, successful careers in this industry, and he's at a point where now he is a veteran, and he's there to put the younger talent over and to sell them and to make them look like gold more than himself, because that's the stature where Brock Lesnar's at right now. And Brock Lesnar doesn't need any momentum or any rivalry wins to make him a top draw in the WWE. That's why I think Cody Rhodes will get the win tomorrow at SummerSlam. And then Brock Lesnar, we probably won't see him till, I would say, the Royal Rumble next year. And I don't know how Brock Lesnar's status is looking with the WWE. I had heard rumors about Brock Lesnar possibly retiring, and we'll see what happens after tomorrow's SummerSlam. Then there's the Battle Royal featuring, I don't know how many superstars are going to be in this Battle Royal. It's more of a slot filler, a time filler for the SummerSlam card this year. And I think the right guy to win this Battle Royal is LA Knight, because he's been getting pushed more by the crowd more than the WWE. LA Knight has been a talent that's been more on the back burner than anything. When he got the call up from NXT to the main roster, they had him playing more of the managerial role. When he made his main roster debut, he was playing as Max Dupree, who was a kayfabe modeling agent for the Maximum Male models. And then he had got the split after Triple H became the head of creative, and that's when they made LA Knight bring back the character LA Knight, then for him to play as a manager for the Maximum Male Models group as Max Dupree. And he's been getting featured more on SmackDown because the fans have gotten behind him. He can wrestle as well as he can talk. He's charismatic and he gets a good reaction from the crowd. That's why the WWE has been featuring him more than before, because he's getting the reaction that I would say all wrestlers would want to get from the crowd. And I can't think of any other wrestler that's going to be featured on this time filler of a match, this battle royal. And I can't think of any other talent that could use this push more than LA Knight. And the next match on the card is for the World Heavyweight title. This is a rematch from Money in the Bank. The champion Seth Rollins defending his World Heavyweight title versus Finn Balor. Now this rivalry, I like how they continue this rivalry from Money in the Bank instead of closing out this rivalry, because this rivalry goes back to SummerSlam 2016 when they brought back the brand split and then they implemented the Universal title. And Finn Balor, if y'all don't remember, he was the first ever WWE Universal Champion, and his first defense as the first ever Universal Champion was versus Seth Rollins, where he successfully defended the WWE Universal title. And then he had to vacate that title because he suffered an injury after a move that was botched. And then that's why this rivalry is more personal than, I would say, their previous rivalry. And then it has a backstory, and that's what makes a storyline when it comes to pro wrestling more intriguing. And I say they've done a great job at building this rivalry up. And I think Seth Rollins will successfully defend the World Heavyweight title as he did at Money in the Bank. And right now it's looking like the Judgment Day is at a disagreement, because I would say mainly because of Damian Priest and Finn Balor. After Damian Priest became this year's Money in the Bank ladder match winner, that's when the relationship with the Judgment Day has became wobbly, because now with the World Heavyweight title scene, with Finn Balor being the challenger as of right now for the World Heavyweight title, and Damian Priest having the Money in the Bank, that calls for a very rocky relationship when it comes to the Judgment Day, because you got one member of the Judgment Day challenging for the World Heavyweight title, and then the Money in the Bank winner, who is Damian Priest, he's automatically going to be in the picture for the World Heavyweight title because he has the Money in the Bank briefcase. And that also adds to the scene of the World Heavyweight title picture. And at Money in the Bank, we saw that Damian Priest was there ringside. He did not interfere in the match with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. I don't think he will interfere in this match either. I don't think a cash-in will happen either. They possibly might tease a cash-in attempt or a hint or a tease for a cash-in. And I don't know how Damian Priest will get involved in this match with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor at SummerSlam. It could possibly be, as we saw at Money in the Bank, he might just be there ringside to observe and to look for a opportunity for him to swoop in there and potentially cash in the Money in the Bank. And we'll see how this plays out. However, I'm picking Seth Rollins to win this match with him and Finn Balor. And then the next match on the card is a MMA style match with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Now, WWE has never had a MMA style match on the main card. Y'all remember that boxing, wrestling, MMA tournament that they had during the Attitude Era? Now, that was not kayfabe. That was an actual thing. And then when they had a kayfabe MMA style gimmick scene on Raw, when they were performing at the Thunderdome, that's the only time slot that the WWE featured a MMA style on their programming, and they're gonna have it featured not on Raw but on a pay-per-view SummerSlam. Shayna Baszler, she comes from a mixed martial arts background, as well as Ronda Rousey. She is, I would say, one of the most successful MMA female fighters in women's MMA history. And then they're actually friends in real life. They've trained together and they've actually created a bond with each other. That's why they should have chemistry. I was looking forward to, I would say, more of a regular wrestling style match than a MMA gimmicked match, especially at a big event like this at SummerSlam. I would say they've done a good job at building this rivalry because they have a history together. However, as I said, I would have liked to see a regular wrestling match, but they've done a good job at building this up because of their MMA background, and they've never done this on a big event like SummerSlam. And I think they could have done a better job by giving them more of a time to build as a team than to split up as quick as that they did. And as far as who I'm picking to win this match, I would say Shayna Baszler can use this win more than Ronda Rousey, because Ronda Rousey, she's already accomplished as a wrestler in the WWE. Shayna Baszler, she had more of a success in her developmental stages in NXT than on the main roster. I think Ronda Rousey will get the win tomorrow at SummerSlam. However, I don't think it will be the end of their rivalry. I think the rematch, whenever they do have it, it could be on the next event or whenever, because Ronda Rousey, she be on and off. I think she works more part-time than full-time. That's why I don't know when they're going to have a rematch. However, I did say that I don't think this will be their only match. That's why I'm picking Ronda Rousey to win this match at tomorrow's SummerSlam. And then the next match on the card is a three-way match for the women's title. Asuka versus Bianca Belair versus Charlotte Flair. Now, Charlotte Flair, she recently came back after taking some time off after WrestleMania, and Asuka became the women's champion after she defeated Bianca Belair at Night of Champions, and she hasn't defended the women's title after she became the women's champion at Night of Champions, and she wasn't featured at this year's Money in the Bank. She did defend it on SmackDown. This will be her first pay-per-view title defense as the women's champion. That's why I'm picking Asuka to win this match, because she recently won the women's title. And Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair, all three of these wrestlers are very well accomplished and wrestle at a very high level. That's why it won't make sense for somebody of Asuka's stature to lose the title this quickly, especially as her first title defense on her first pay-per-view event as the women's champion. Mind y'all, Bianca Belair had one of the longest, most successful reigns as the women's champion, and it's a big deal that Asuka ended that streak, and someone of her caliber should have a lengthy title reign. And since Io Sky became this year's Money in the Bank winner, they've been teasing Io Sky as the Miss Money in the Bank the way they should book her as. And she's been teasing her cash-ins whenever there seems to be an opportunity for her to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I don't know if she will be featured at this year's SummerSlam. I don't know if she will be featured during this match. And I don't know how Io Sky will play a factor as she has been on regular WWE TV programming as Miss Money in the Bank. And the way how it's looking right now, I think they're teasing a rivalry with Asuka and Io Sky for the women's title on SmackDown. And then after Asuka successfully defends her women's title versus Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair, then I think Asuka will get into a rivalry with either Bayley and Io Sky, and then I say Asuka could get into a rivalry with Bayley, and then that could have Io Sky, who is in the same group as Bayley, be having more of a build with Asuka for a future potential rivalry with each other for the women's title. And then Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair being decorated wrestlers themselves who don't really need the title as of right now, because Charlotte Flair has won the women's title 14 times. Bianca Belair has one of the most longest successful reigns as the women's champion, and that itself calls for a good rivalry. And that's my predictions for tomorrow's three-way match for the women's title. And then the next match on the card is for the Intercontinental title. Gunther, who is the second most, I would say, impressive. No, I'm not going to say I would say definitely is the second most impressive champion in the WWE currently. After Roman Reigns, Gunther has the longest title reign as of right now as an Intercontinental champion. After he got the call up from NXT, he immediately won the Intercontinental title and hasn't lost it since. And that is impressive right there. And Gunther, he's looking like he's about to repeat what he was doing over there at NXT UK. And I think he was the longest reigning NXT UK champion in that franchise history. And he's somewhat on the same cycle as the current Intercontinental champion. And he's in a rivalry right now with Drew McIntyre, who came back recently at this year's Money in the Bank after Gunther defeated Matt Riddle and successfully defended his Intercontinental title. Now, this is a good rivalry. Both wrestlers are very well accomplished and very well over, and I would say is a major factor over there on Monday Night Raw, and it's one of the most valuable rivalries going on over there on Monday Night Raw. And I'm picking Gunther to defeat Drew McIntyre cleanly at tomorrow's SummerSlam, and that would add on to his resume, and that would be a good look for Gunther as the current Intercontinental Champion, and that will make his reign as a current Intercontinental Champion more impressive than it already is. And Drew McIntyre, he has to build himself up back again as, I would say, a major factor over there on Monday Night Raw. And I don't know how it's going to happen, because after Gunther defeats him, I don't know what rivalry what storyline that he could get into to bounce back from this. However, I would say Gunther can use a win at tomorrow's SummerSlam more than Drew McIntyre can, because Drew McIntyre, he's a former world champion. He's well over with the crowd. And I know Drew McIntyre, his contractual situation was looking wobbly and questionable with the WWE, hence why he took time off, because he wasn't pleased with the angles that he was getting presented with the WWE, and his contract was soon to expire. And then there was talks of Drew McIntyre possibly not re-signing with the WWE. Those rumors were cleared up after Money in the Bank when he made his return. And that obviously means that Drew McIntyre has re-signed with the WWE. And if he's not, or if he wasn't happy with the storylines that he was getting pitched with prior to him making his return, then if he loses to Gunther, who I think should win versus Drew McIntyre at tomorrow's SummerSlam, I don't see why the WWE would have Gunther lose the Intercontinental title when they're trying to, I would say, have him repeat what he was doing over there in NXT UK. And it adds more prestige to not only Gunther, but to the Intercontinental title as well, which I would say the WWE has done a good job at making the mid-card titles look prestigious once again, because not too long ago, they were making the mid-card titles lose its value and lose its meaning that it once had. And they've done a great job at revamping the mid-card titles, especially with this reign that Gunther has got going on right now. And I can't think of, because Gunther has had such a impressive good reign as the Intercontinental Champion, I would say if he were to drop the title, I couldn't name a better opponent that he could drop the title against than to somebody as accomplished as Drew McIntyre. However, as I said, I'm sticking with my pick. I think Gunther will get the win and successfully defend his Intercontinental title tomorrow versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Then the next match on the card, it will be Ricochet versus Logan Paul. Now, they've done a good job. I would say they've done a sneaky good job at building this rivalry, because they had a moment at this year's Royal Rumble, well, when both wrestlers were on the other sides of the ring and they collided on a springboard clothesline. And then at this year's Money in the Bank, they had yet another highlight reel spot. And with both of these great athletic talent, because I would say Logan Paul has definitely proved himself as a good in-ring competitor, and we know Ricochet can perform at a high level as well. And Logan Paul, with the notoriety that he has, and Ricochet being the workhorse that he is, this is definitely a rivalry that Ricochet can use to elevate himself to the next stage in his career. And this rivalry, I think the proper way to book it is to have Ricochet win this match, because he is a full-time talent, and Logan Paul makes appearances when it comes to major events such as SummerSlam. And I think Ricochet can definitely use a victory to catapult his career to the next level. And I'm expecting highlight reel spots in this match, and I'm expecting a fast-paced match with these two wrestlers. And as I said, I'm predicting Ricochet to win this match at tomorrow's SummerSlam. Then the main event we have for the undisputed Universal title, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. Now, this is deja vu from 3 years ago. And y'all remember when Roman Reigns came back SummerSlam 2020 after Bray Wyatt defeated Braun Strowman to... Was he the champion when he defeated Braun Strowman? I don't remember. Anyways, Roman Reigns came out and came back. He returned after taking some time off, and as his t-shirt read, wreck everyone and leave. That's exactly what he did. After Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman had the match for the Universal title, Roman Reigns laid them both out. And then at the next pay-per-view event, Roman Reigns defeated them in a three-way match. And then he got into a rivalry with his cousin, Jey Uso. And then he defeated Jey Uso in a regular match. And then he defeated him at a Hell in a Cell match. And then Jey Uso, he quote-unquote fell in line, and that's how the bloodline came about, and it became a actual stable after Jimmy Uso recovered from his injury. And then right now, they kayfabe Jimmy Uso as being on the shelf after having a kayfabe injury after Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa took him out. And then now that's what added on to the rivalry factor with Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. And this isn't going to be a normal wrestling match. This is going to be a tribal, I don't know what gimmick they gave this match. It's going to be a no disqualification, no count out, anything goes match with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And that's a match that they never had. They did, as I said, have a gimmick match back in Hell in a Cell. And this match, it has more of a story than 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it was Jey Uso trying to, I would say, get over on Roman Reigns and defeat him and become the big dog himself and the tribal chief himself. And then this year's rivalry, unlike 3 years ago, they've built up more of a story because Jey Uso has been, I would say, watching Roman Reigns back, holding things down for the bloodline, making sure the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, ahead of the table. He gets all the successful victories for the bloodline and successfully defend his WWE Undisputed Universal titles, and making sure that he continues his reign as the Undisputed Universal Champion and continue his current reign right now as the Undisputed Universal Champion. And then it all came to a boiling end when Jimmy Uso had kicked Roman Reigns in the face at Night of Champions when Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa challenged Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the Undisputed Tag Team titles. And that's what caused the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, and Solo Sikoa a possible win at the Tag Team titles. And then Jey Uso, he joined Jimmy Uso, his brother, and chose his side instead of going with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. And that's what led to the tag team match at Money in the Bank. And Jey Uso became the first man to get a pin over on Roman Reigns ever since 2019. And that's what led to this match. And it made it more personal after Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa put hands on his brother and him, and then kayfabe injured Jimmy Uso. Now, I don't know if Jimmy Uso is going to return at SummerSlam, and I don't know how he's going to be featured in this rivalry. I just don't see Jey Uso getting the win and ending this reign of Roman Reigns as being the Undisputed Universal Champion. And I don't know how Roman Reigns is going to win. However, I am predicting that Roman Reigns will win at tomorrow's SummerSlam and continue his reign as the Undisputed Universal Champion. And now that is the prediction video for tomorrow's SummerSlam. Now, y'all let me know who y'all picking to win for each match at this year's SummerSlam. Comment, subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. And that does it for the preview video. I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.